Your Majesty, I've just received word that a small band of royals was smuggled out of Australia before Gabriel teleported there. It appears you executed a few stand-ins.
Stand-ins? Somehow this doesn't surprise me in the least. Any idea which of the royals escaped?
Negative, sir, but my suspicion is they are close to King George.
British royals, no less. Well, I will say that bastard George was more resourceful than I ever gave him credit for.
Sir, I wouldn't be surprised if King George himself escaped your execution.
That's impossible. I put the rope around his neck myself.
Indeed, Your Majesty, but my sources tell me that there was some chatter. Apparently, the King George you executed was a shapeshifter. No one knows who made the claim, but supposedly, the subject has come up more than once. It's quite possible the real King George is alive and well, and in hiding.
Damn it! Who are your sources, Jeremy?
Australian spies who infiltrated the remaining oligarchy in Europe. You were clear in your orders, sir. You wanted this entire operation to be covert and free-flowing. My spies have been in secret meetings in Austria, Luxembourg, and Germany. They are supposed to convene in Dusseldorf tomorrow night, under heavy secrecy.
That makes sense. Tomorrow night is a full moon.
Sir, I believe we should let them go ahead and have their meeting. It may be the only way to confirm whether King George and the other royals are still alive. Or if it's just conspiracy theories meant to lead us on a wild goose chase.
Lord Oreb, use every available resource in our Black Ops unit to find out if these are merely crackpots talking gibberish, or if there are British royals still alive. But think about it. We use the same methods to get to the Canadians. Those insufferable reptilians might have used our own strategies against us.
Sir, why would they do that? I mean, King George was not a very powerful man in the grand scheme of things. Why would they go to such lengths to save his skin?
If by they you mean the Dracs, I wouldn't put anything past them. Nothing they do makes sense to us. But if King George is still alive and used a shapeshifter to stand in for his execution, there is no question he was the mastermind behind it all. And he plans to be the one to save what's left of the royals in a grand resurgence.
How? They have already lost the war.
Jeremy, you surprise me sometimes. The more I think about it, the more I think we have not heard the last of that slithering abomination, King George. Right now, the element of surprise is the only chance they have of making any resurgence.
New Kingdom Radio Theater.
If you're a podcast junkie, you might be thinking about doing a show of your own. I can tell you this audio drama started out just as an idea while listening to other podcasts. And starting it was the best decision I ever made. But it can feel overwhelming if you don't know where to begin. That's why I gotta tell you about Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout is by far the easiest and best way to launch a professional podcast. Buzzsprout will get you onto every major podcast platform like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. You also get an awesome podcast website. There is so much Buzzsprout has to offer. Start your own podcast with Buzzsprout and get a $20 Amazon gift card. Just follow the link in the show notes. This way Buzzsprout will know that I and all of us here at the New Kingdom Radio Theater sent you, and you'll be supporting our show. Buzzsprout, the easiest and best way to start a podcast.
Lord Oreb discovered fragments of the European oligarchy loyal to the Dracs and the European alliance. They were resorting to guerrilla tactics and working with covert black op groups. It was learned these enigmatic underground militia conglomerates were responsible for Lord Samuel's death. The king also learned they planned a daring kidnapping of Lord Joshua Jackson while he was overseeing Russia's restructuring. But before Asilas could act on this intel, Jackson was left unguarded in his office in the Kremlin when soldiers dressed all in black removed some ceiling panels, dropped down into his office, and grabbed him while he was working at his desk. They were so quiet, Jackson never even looked up until one of them placed their hand to cover his mouth. When Jackson's assistants returned to his office, he was gone. Jackson's kidnapping enraged Asilas, but Capone came to calm the king and did his best to keep his mind composed. Within days, Asilas received a message from members of the monster group that they had Jackson and were willing to release him in exchange for the release of King George's daughter, Princess Marilyn. It was only known by a very few select number of people that Asilas had ordered Princess Marilyn to be kept alive. Asilas was so puzzled by this, it literally sent him into a tailspin of suspicion of everyone on the High Council, for only they knew Princess Marilyn was even alive.
Looks like your trusted High Council isn't so trustworthy after all, Silas.
I suppose you're here to compound my already mounting suspicions. What would you suggest? Should I kill them all? This way I'll definitely eliminate the loose tongue.
You criticize others for the drama they immerse themselves in, but you are quite the drama queen yourself.
Well, you're not here for any useful purpose, so I'm going to use my mind to remove you.
Well, you can try that. Millions try it every day. But I'm still here, Silas. I will always be here, whether you like it or not.
I'm afraid none of us will always be here, especially not you. I'm resolved with the acceptance of my demise, and will go when our Creator calls me home.
Yeah, well, I'm in no hurry to go back there. Dare I say my hopes aren't as glorious as yours. For me, all that is pretty I find in the daughters of beasts and men. Lucky you never had one. Well, none you acknowledge anyway.
Somehow I expected something like that from the likes of you. See, that's the thing. You made your choice. You walked the path you chose. And your path leads you to eternal damnation. You'll enjoy your time here like you always have, with the daughters of beast and men, as you say. But sooner or later, your time will be up. And when the clock strikes midnight on your final day, you'll enter the party you have chosen. And there will be no daughters of any kind for you to have.
Isn't that something? I hadn't thought of that before. If I'm to be the overseer of hell and damnation for all eternity, how then will I one day also be destroyed? Will there be another overseer after me?
The clock is getting ever closer to midnight, Beals. We'll all face our judgment soon enough. But I have my hopes on being in the heavens when you face your extermination. Maybe you'll be among all those poor souls that suffer. We are truly at the mercy of God. For we cannot know how his plans work, or why they work as they do. I prefer not to know. I prefer to serve him, and that's all.
Well, there was a time when I served him as well, Silas. Treachery of a greater power carries a heavy penalty. For those willing to pay the price, they will revel while they can.
On the day Asilas was set to release Princess Marilyn, he fed a live stream to the monster group of the princess with a rope around her neck. The monster group responded with placing a rope around Jackson. Asilas, very agitated, said,
"The difference is Jackson is willing to die for the greater good of humanity, Whereas all you want is to continue the insanity of ruining mankind and keep them enslaved under your lunacy. I know my friend Joshua is ready to die for our cause. Therefore, I reject your offer for a clean swap.
And with that, the lead monster unmasked himself, revealing it was, in fact, King George. He was accompanied by some of the other royals, who he thought he hung from the gallows and killed. But King Asilas did not express shock at this revelation. He merely stared into the camera and smiled. Then, he took a pair of pliers and began crushing the young girl's fingertips. The screams grew louder, and King George yelled, "Stop!" To which Asilas responded,
Tell me, George, why doesn't the sound of your child's scream not feed your reptilian masters?
Asilas then proceeded to crush more of the girl's fingertips. And the cries in agony continued. King George removed the rope from Jackson's neck and pleaded with Asilas not to harm the princess any longer. Asilas gave King George until the day of his son's wedding to release Jackson. If Jackson was not released, he would torture the princess to a slow and agonizing death.
Wow, look at my baby girl. Oh my God, you're so beautiful. I can't believe you're actually getting married. It seems like just yesterday I was changing your diapers.
Mom, please stop.
Well, I'm sorry, but when I see you walk down that aisle, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to contain myself.
Oh, stop, Mom. You're gonna make me cry too.
Baby girl, in a few hours, you are gonna be married to the Prince of America. Next in line to be king. You are going to be queen someday. Oh,
I know. You know, Mom, I've been thinking about my dad. I miss him so much. I wish he could be here to see this day. Do you think he would approve of Jacob? I mean, like, really approve?
Monica, your father would be so proud of you. And yes, he would have liked Jacob very much. But what's there not to like? He is handsome, a true gentleman. He's kind, and just an absolute sweetheart. You hit the mega jackpot. I was going to say lottery, but you probably don't remember what those were. But your dad wouldn't have looked at it that way, of course. He was a very serious man. You know, I'll let you in on a little known fact. Your father fought alongside Asilas in the Civil War.
You never told me that before.
I know, I should have. But it's your wedding day, and I figured this would be a nice gift for the occasion. You are now going to be American royalty. I don't think your father knew what this country was going to become, but he paid for this with his life. He sacrificed everything for America. And now, through you, he lives on within the walls of this immaculate castle. His seed is now joining with royalty. I don't think you could have been any prouder than I am of you right now.
You know, I told Jacob that I want to start a family, like, right away. And if we have a son, I want to name him Malcolm, after my father.
You do? Well, fine. Try to play a little before you start popping out babies. You two should have some fun first. Get to play around with being husband and wife and the royal stuff royal people do.
Yeah, we will. We plan on going to Jekyll Island for the first part of our honeymoon, and then, if King Asilas says that things are safe, we can go to Italy. But you know, a lot of things still aren't settled over there yet.
Oh, believe me, I know. Maybe you guys should stay in the American states for now. Or even South America, like Brazil. It's really beautiful there. When the rest of the world settles down, then you can take all the time you want in the Riviera, or Monte Carlo, or Venice, or wherever you like. But right now, it's still dangerous, baby girl. Besides, you want to enjoy your honeymoon without worrying about bombings and whatnot.
Do you think things will start to settle down now that the war is over?
Now, I don't want you to worry about all that stuff, because the war is far from over. Now, enough about that. Let's get you ready to walk down that aisle. Your dress is absolutely gorgeous. I can't get over how beautiful you look in it. Oh my God.
Sir, we are getting close to the time expiring for King George. What are your contingency orders? We have to entertain the notion that George may actually give Jackson up.
I believe I was quite explicit, Jeremy. When the time expires, hang the princess just high enough for her toes to barely touch the floor. And stream the live feed to George.
Even if they release Jackson?
They're not going to release Jackson. And if they do, it's probably another shapeshifter. I've updated the plan. Position a sniper near the place they specified Jackson would be released. When there's a visual on Jackson, take him out.
Going to assassinate Lord Jackson?
I am certain it will be an imposter, Jeremy. Have your men ready to take out Jackson upon making a visual. Make sure the sniper knows not to hesitate.
And the princess?
Let her hang at the same moment the sniper takes his shot and send the feed. I want George to watch helplessly as the princess struggles on her toes. Then cut the feed and leave George to wonder about his precious Marilyn's final moments. Well, look at the handsome prince. You nervous, Jacob?
Me? Nah. Okay, yeah, I'm a little nervous.
You should be. Your bride looks to make quite a mark on the world. I have to say, you both look stunning. I'm very happy for you, son.
Wait, you got a peek at Monica already? Of course, you're the king. Father, I want you to know I asked Isaac to be my best man, but he didn't.
I know, Jacob. Your mother told me. Isaac is just a little sore about the birthright thing, but he'll get over it eventually.
He's here, but I think he's already very drunk. I hope he doesn't make a scene.
I assure you your brother will not make a scene. I have a Spartan with him, posing as a guest. They're getting along just fine. The Spartan has been given the order to knock your brother out with a small syringe should he get out of hand.
Don't hurt him, Father. He knows not what he does.
He knows exactly what he's doing. But don't worry, he won't be harmed at all.
Just relax. Take some deep breaths and get ready to make your vows, son. It's the biggest day of your life thus far.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here this day to join Prince Jacob Roman and Lady Monica Banks in holy matrimony, commended to be honorable among all, and therefore is not to be entered into lightly, but reverently, passionately, lovingly, and solemnly. Into this, these two persons, present now, come to be joined. If any person can show just cause why they may not be joined together, let them speak now, or forever hold their peace.
Lord Oreb, I'm in position.
As soon as you make a visual on Lord Jackson, take him out.
True marriage is more than simply joining two persons together through the bonds of matrimony.
I see movement. There's a black sedan pulling up to the X point.
It is also the union of two hearts and the blending of two families.
It looks like Jackson. Wait, it appears there are several Jacksons.
Repeat, did you say several Jacksons? What do you mean?
It lives on the love you give each other and never grows old, but also thrives on the joy of each new day.
Commander, I count 5 men that look exactly like Lord Jackson stepping out of the sedan. Do I proceed and neutralize all of them?
I have to contact King Asilas right away. Hold your position.
When frustration, difficulty, and fear assail your relationship, as they threaten all relationships at some time or another, remember to focus on what is good and not what seems wrong.
Damn it, Oreb, what is it?
Sir, you're not going to believe what is transpiring.
Ultimately, there comes moments when decisions must be made. Two people who love each other must ask themselves how much they hope for their love to grow and deepen. How much risk are they willing to take? Commitment may well be a fearful gamble.
Then take them all out. Obviously, they want us to think the real Jackson is in the mix.
Sir, maybe there's a way to find out which one is the real Jackson.
There's no time.
Because it is the nature of love to create. A marriage itself is something which has to be created. The natural consequence of a love so strong, such as we come together in marriage.
Sniper 1, can you confirm your targets are down?
We become a new creature, two becoming one.
All 5 targets are down. I repeat, all 5 targets are down.
Do you, Monica Banks, take this man, Jacob Roman, to be your lawfully wedded husband, to love and to cherish, under the watchful eye of God himself?
I do.
Your Majesty, we have confirmation. Jackson has been eliminated.
You've been listening to The Rise of King Asilas, Episode 23, The Daughters of Beasts and Men, starring J.V. Torres as King Asilas and Beals, Stephen Fisher as Lord Jeremy Oreb, Layla Benet as Monica Banks, Madeline Goshorn as Lord Vanessa Banks, Dominic Notaro as Jacob, Kevin Oken as the Sniper, Telly Pandel as the Priest, and narrated by Sergei Barishnikov. Other music contributions by Raphael Crux, Reader, Kevin MacLeod, freesound.org, and Audio Jungle. For more information about the cast, the music, or this production, please visit us at www.theriseofkingasilas.com. This has been a production of the New Kingdom Radio Theater in Baltimore, Maryland. Copyright 2019. And stay tuned for episode 24.